obviously back at the hangar, and I've got a list of things I want to work through, and I'm gonna work through those with you guys. It's super windy outside, so flying is probably not gonna happen today. Maybe tonight if it dies down a little bit, but my priority is just to get all the little issues sorted. So you guys might remember last flight, first flight, really bad vibration issue. When I landed, I immediately went over and felt the spinner, and it was just completely crap. It had like probably an inch of play each way. Basically what had happened is it was a really cheap spinner, and during the flight, on the ground everything was fine, but for some of the reason the motor built airspeed. I'm guessing it's because on the ground it's the only thing in front of the prop, so it was not affected by any wind. And then during airspeed it actually had some, wind impact it. And the backplate of it being a composite backplate and just poorly made, I think sort of delaminated itself a little bit, but also it was just a terrible spinner that was terribly out of balance. So long story short, as I was hunting for a new spinner, I couldn't find any in the entire country. Anyway, last minute, so ordering one, etc. was gonna take a while. So I thought, I had the option of getting a new 3-blade prop with a new spinner right away, literally an hour later. So I did that. It's an upgrade, kind of adds value to the airplane, and it looks cool. So that takes care of the biggest problem with the airplane right now, is the vibration issue. I've been running it on the ground and it's unreal. And admittedly, I have flown it since, and it is beautiful. Really runs well. So a couple of things I still need to sort out is I'm gonna change the spark plugs. I'm gonna check my mixture settings on the carburetors. For some of the reason I've got a feeling I set one carb different to the other. I'll be so disappointed if I have, but I'm gonna check that anyway. I'm gonna check the magnetic plug to make sure that the gearbox is not wearing, because it could be a gearbox issue as well, an additional vibration issue. And then controls, I'm gonna fix those. I flew it in calm conditions without the control bias again, or without fixing the control bias again, just to be 100% sure that that's actually an issue I'm dealing with. And it is. It's not like super bad. I'll show you guys. What makes it interesting on this airplane is it's got a stall conversion on it, so I'll talk you guys through that. It's complicated. But I'm gonna make the best of the windy weather and work on the airplane. And okay, so here's what's happening with the airplane. It's constantly wanting to bank left, so I'm flying with right aileron input. So obviously the natural thing would be, or what would be nice if I had trim tabs, I would use those to counteract that banking tendency. I don't have trim tabs, so I'm gonna have to do a rigging change, which on this airplane is particularly a pain because it's got a Robinson stall conversion. What happens with that is, actually I'm just gonna show you. Well, as you can tell, the aileron came down with the flap. This is sometimes known as a Robinson stall conversion, because there's a company, Robinson, that made an STC for a couple of airplanes. A lot of 210s that I grew up flying around with have a similar conversion. It's amazing, works really well, limits your crosswind capability a little bit in full flap configuration, but this thing stalls at 24, 25 knots. It's insane. It really is literally insane. But because you have the flap linked with the aileron and there's a mixer in every wing, the mixer is basically a control horn that it activates another horn based past certain activation points. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically it's just mixing flap control with aileron control and allowing these to stay separate. When I move this, the flap doesn't move, but when I move the flap, the aileron moves. Very simply what it's doing. But what that means is if I change anything anywhere, it's gonna throw everything out. So if I move the flap, it's gonna change both ailerons. If I change one aileron, it's gonna, well, not really help, but it's also gonna interfere with the flap. So I think just by raising the flap, I'm gonna inherently raise the aileron. So both surfaces are gonna end up deflecting up, which is gonna help me with that imbalance, which means I have to do very little. And I think I might get away with having it look pretty good. Okay, it's hard to tell what I've actually done now, but as you can tell, the actual fairings no longer line up. It's a bit of an aesthetic issue, but I think this is gonna solve the problem, or at least get me closer. I won't know until I fly it. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna double check what I've just loosened. I'm not gonna torque seal it yet. I always torque seal all my control bolts, just because will most likely change it again. But once I've flown it, and I'm happy with it, I'll torque seal it. Okay, that's job one done. Pretty quick. Okay, so pretty much done everything I can for today. The biggest thing I've done was change the spark plugs, just with fresh ones, and made sure the gaps are good. Changed the magnetic plug. I mounted cameras, that's a huge one. I can't begin to explain how excited I am to just have an airplane where the cameras are permanently fixed. Yeah, like I have permanent mounting points I'm just gonna leave the GoPro cages on there so I can just throw in the cameras and go fly. That's the setup we had on the round the world flight, and oh my God, it was so good. I'm very excited about that. It's gonna make making videos so much easier. I'm annoyed that I don't have the tools for the carburetors. It's such a simple thing to check because I have hard fuel lines on this motor. It's such a pain. On my next build, I'm definitely doing flexible fuel lines. Like, this is just not worth it. Yeah, that's about it. I'm working on a color scheme for it. Probably do a big reveal at some point. It's just gonna be vinyl. I wanted to paint it, but yeah, just masking it and then, you know, spraying in the hanger is just gonna be such a pain. So I'm just gonna put vinyls on it, try and make it as modern as possible, slick as possible. I'm thinking like matte black with a really like bright color, maybe yellow or orange or like a bright blue or red, or, you know, but matte black. I think that's definitely part of what I'm gonna be using. All right, I'm gonna go home, watch a movie. I'll see you guys in the morning, like in a few seconds, basically.
All right, what's up, dudes? I've been out here since 5 this morning working on the airplane. I checked the extra settings on the carburetors, and was able to figure that all out. There was nothing wrong with them, but new spark plugs, and she's running a hell of a lot smoother already. I just did an engine run before, shut down, checked for leaks or anything, and it's all good, because I was playing with the fuel system, working on it. The plan is just to go for a quick flight, make sure everything's good. This is like hopefully the final shakedown. Hopefully the controls will be good, and hopefully the motor will be good. That'll be pretty big relief. Alright, Warren's gone, so I'm going to taxi out. Fuel pumps off, mags are on, avionics are on, ethos backup on. Everything's good, lights off, flaps, trim is set, flaps 0, and doors are closed, I'm secure. Texted my dad. When I'm out alone at the airport, I just usually let somebody know that I'm about to go flying. Okay. So, here we go. Just want to fix that. Okay, full power. Airspeed's alive. Okay, she's flying. Okay, got a pitch for that climb on this prop. Okay, so we're gonna climb. Mr. Traffic, Charlie Lima, Airborne 27, climbing through 700 feet for 1,500. We'll be circling overhead the field for the next 5 minutes. A little bit of weird stuff coming from the motor. Okay, so I'm gonna throttle back here. Temperatures and everything is good. Okay, the controls are definitely not better yet. I gotta fix that. I wanna cruise here at 5,000. AGTs are good, cylinder head temperatures are a little low, so I might have to close up the coolant a little bit. Yeah, the conditions are at least pretty calm, so that definitely helps with trying to diagnose anything, you know. And I'm keeping the runway as an option at all times, you know, just sort of staying in reach of that. Definitely, if I let go, you can tell she just goes, you know. So I need to still fix that. It's a little bit better than it used to be, a little bit, but not enough. So this is the longest that I've now run this motor at these continuous settings, and yeah, she's running good. The cylinder head temps are definitely too low. I'm gonna have to close that up a little bit. It's got a huge radiator on it. All right, oil pressure is okay. It's sitting around 3.5 to 4. It's oscillating for sure. Oil temperature is good. Oil temperature I'm happy with. It's just the cylinder head temps are still too cool for my liking. Okay, I need to figure out that smell. It smells like oil. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just slow her up. And then we're going to get just a little bit of flaps out. I'm still figuring out where the flaps are on this airplane. Alright, so the things that I need to sort out now are oil and checking the oil and the controls. Okay. Alright, let's put her down. Okay, not my best landing, but she'll do. Okay, flaps are up. I just need to figure out where that oil smell is coming from. Okay.
Alright, this is not the video that I wanted to make, or the way to end this video. The oil leak ended up being pretty bad actually, and probably means I won't fly for a while. First of all, you can tell everything was soaked. I've already cleaned up most of it, but the pushrod seals are gone, all 4 of them on this side. This is so frustrating. I can't even begin to explain the frustration. Luckily I landed when I landed, because if I'd kept flying, that would have ended up being bad, and that oil pressure reading that was fluctuating was definitely, yeah, it was that. Lost quite a bit of oil, quite a bit. Like if I'd continued flying, or if one of them completely blew out, I would have been screwed. So, alright, well, I'm gonna just go home and kind of process and plan on how to fix this, because I can't not fix it. It has to get fixed. I didn't want to end the video on this note. I'll deal with it. I will deal with it. I will find a solution. It might take forever, but I will find a solution. We will go on the South Island trip at some point. I just need to figure everything out, because it just keeps adding up. This is ridiculous. Anyway, all right, see you guys later.